So in this mini tutorial, I want to go over distortion, which is like very easy to make. It is very commonly used in VFX and effects in general, like materials too. For example, creating some water effects like this, or creating some lava effects, even in creating just fire. You know, like the torch fires like this. And this is also this is not made with distortion, but a fire like this can also be made with distortion. So let's quickly go into it. So I'll call it distortion. Let's open it. I'm just going to make the roughness be 1 and specular be 0. This is just personal preference. It would be different based on your project. We'll take a texture by pressing T and doing left click, or just search for texture sample. And I'll use a texture, this basic Unreal Engine one. Now, if I take a UV coordinates, which is texture coordinate, you could do U and do left click and add something into it. So if I add 0.5, it moves a bit. So we have basically distorted this texture slightly, but this is not what we want. So right now what's happened is we have added 0.5 to every single point in this texture, in these pixels. In every single point we have added 0.5, so it's moved in this direction. If I use a time node, it will basically move in this direction because it's constantly distorting or constantly adding a specific value to all these pixels. But what if I take a texture sample again and use a noise texture? Again, if you want to get some noise textures or textures in general, go to my website. There are lots of free ones. A texture is nothing but different values at different pixel locations. So again, if you don't understand this, just know that wherever in that texture is like black is 0, wherever in that texture is white is 1, and like this is 0.5, like center one is 0.5, and then like again like 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, and all that, like all these places. Okay, so a texture like this is nothing but single float value at different pixel locations. So instead of consistently adding a single value, if we add a texture, we are adding different values at different points. So wherever there is white color in here, like fully white, we are adding 1. Wherever there's like fully black, we are adding 0, which basically does no change. And wherever there's like some slight different colors, it could be between like 0.0 to 1, like anything between 0 to 1. So like 0.2, 0.5, 0.6 and all that, and each pixel is moved that way. So based on the texture that you use, the distortion would be different. You could see, and you could even see the difference in this texture, because in here this is like fully white, so it's 1. This is fully black at 0, and this one could be like 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, and whatever it is. So you could see the difference in here. So we'll take noise 1. This is also available on my website, and we don't want this much effect, so we'll take a multiply node and we'll multiply it by 0.1. So again, a texture is nothing but 0 to 1, right? So if we multiply it by 0.1, then 0 times 0.1 is 0, and 1 times 0.1 is 0.1. So all the values are between 0 to 0.1, and we get some slight of effect like this. If I do 0.2, it might look a bit better, you could see. Now if I do a pan, so which is I move this texture a bit up, we get this panning effect, you could see. And this is called distortion because we are basically distorting the UVs and turning this texture into this like weird stuff, you can see. So if I take this one and also turn this into a noise texture, let's use a different noise, something like this, we get a distortion like this. And obviously if you want, you could even pan this full stuff with a different speed, else it would not look good, you could see, and you get this effect. So let's keep it at 0.2. If this these two shouldn't match, okay, else it would just not look perfect because both are syncing. So these two values are different. Then you could take a multiply node and then basically do a color if you want. We get something like this, or you could take a color ramp, add it in here, also in emissive, I guess. We will turn this opposite. Again, play around with it. I've already have video explaining how this all works. I have a video called common nodes in Unreal Engine. Just check that and you will understand lots of these notes if you want to go in much detail. And you could see we get some distortion like this. So this is literally how this water and this is also made.